Hey guys, what's going on? Tyler here, helping you plan big and hustle hard, and we're back with another video today. I'm super excited about this video because it's actually something that I don't know if it's ever been done before, and I'm going to go ahead and explain how it is possible today. So we are talking all about setting up webinars, webinar registration, and using only Elementor, YouTube, and then your webinar offer. So it's going to be something super cool. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. This comes thanks to a comment specifically from the Process Life. I'm going to go ahead and read their comment in just a minute, but let's go ahead and jump into this video. So what's up guys, it's been a little bit. I have been working on a video series that I'm super excited to release. It's still in the works right now, so I don't really have a release date yet, but I am excited for that. So be sure and hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon so you can get notifications when I'm releasing these new videos. And we're gonna drop a entire video series. It's gonna be super awesome. Also check out my shirt today. It says eat, pray, hustle, repeat, because that's literally what my life is right now. So guys, super excited to be here with you. Today's video comes from a comment by the Process Life off my last video. They say, hello Tyler, thank you for the video, hashtag you're welcome. Basically what I'm looking for is a way to use my Elementor on my website for a registration form for a webinar and a booking page for a speaking engagement. Is there a way I can get that without having to go to purchase other software or plugins? I also have MailChimp that I would need for their emails to go to when they book us or register for a webinar, booking funnels, etc. I have the following: MailChimp, Teachable, Elementor, a website, and a YouTube channel. I'm thinking based on this video, I may not need other sources to make it happen. Can you help me please? Yes, the Process Life, I can help you. I've done some, this one took me a minute. This is quite an interesting challenge here. So I'm going to focus on the webinar aspect of things, setting up the webinar, registering for the webinar, all of that. I'm not going to lie, this one took me a minute to kind of figure out because it is quite a bit that you're asking here. And I was thinking, you know, simply just add some kind of plugin, add like a Webinar Jam plugin or something like that. I was thinking add another service. But then you said in here, let's see, I have the following, and I'm thinking based on this video, I may not need other sources. So I started thinking about it and thinking if that was possible, and I kind of came up with an idea that, yeah, actually that is possible. We can definitely make it work without having to add anything, and it'll actually probably work seamless because we're not adding another software here. So thank you for your recommendation. Fortunately, I was able to figure it out, so let's go ahead and just walk through this. This is going to be pretty in-depth, and it is going to have quite a few steps in here, but follow along because once the process is set up, there will still require a little bit of work for each webinar you're hosting. However, it won't be much work. It won't be a lot, and it'll be just the same process repeated over and over, and you can get that down super quick. It'll take you probably 5 to 10 minutes at the most. So let's go ahead and get this set up. Let's move my face a little bit. Okay, so let's see, where should we start? Let's start back on the website. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up actually we'll keep this here. Oop. Okay, we're going to go ahead and create a new page, and we're going to create this webinar registration page. So before we do that, I do want to show you this plugin that I'm using right here. It's called Easy Forms. Let's go to my plugins here. Alright, so I took, you know, from my last video I recommended a lot of different plugins to integrate MailChimp and everything like that. I took, you know, just started going through them, trying a few of them out to see if this could help you, and it certainly did. It is called, I think it's called Yikes. Easy MailChimp Forms. There it is. Okay, it's by Yikes Inc. right here. It's called Easy Forms for MailChimp, and yeah, it's by Yikes Inc. is the company that makes it. So this plugin has helped me a a lot just in the little bit I've used it, and now I'm actually honestly thinking of switching over because it even has like analytics and statistics for my different forms and stuff, my opt-ins, which is super nice. So basically just go ahead and install this plugin and go ahead and activate it, and then from there we're going to go ahead and set it up because we need this plugin to talk to our MailChimp account. So we're going to go ahead and go into the settings. It'll be down here, a little menu item that says easy forms. Just go into the settings here, and then basically the only thing that needs to connect to your account is an API key, which is super easy to do. You just go over to MailChimp here. See if you can see here. MailChimp, right up here is my username, my profile and everything. Click that, and then when it drops down, I believe you want to hit account, and then there'll be like extras. There'll be an extras tab. You tap that, click API keys, and then go ahead and click generate API key. And basically all it does is it refreshes the page, and you now have like a little code in the bottom that says API key generated on this date at this time. Here's the API key. You just copy that over and then take it back to here, back to your plugin, and paste it in there. Again, they have instructions right here if you can't figure it out. I just don't want to go through it because all of my account information is over there, and you don't want to share your API key with anyone because then they have access to your account essentially. So you just go through and do it like that. Super simple, super easy. So like I said, you go up to the top right, you hit, you click on your account name, it drops down. I think you hit account and then extras and then API key and then generate API key. Copy and paste it here. Don't worry about this. Not even totally sure what this is. I wouldn't even worry about it. I hit save changes. It went perfect, and it just updated and grabbed all of my audience, what used to be called lists on MailChimp, all of my audiences. It pulled it right in, and all of the forms and everything like that. So super easy. Once you have that done, let's go back to MailChimp now, and let's go over to audiences. And then again, select the audience that you're going to be working with. This is an old list. I'm just going to go ahead and show you on this one here. Select the audience that you're going to be working with, and then go over to Manage Audience and go to Settings. Oh, sorry, we could have actually gone straight there. Go over to Sign Up Forms. I think you could hit that from the drop down. Sign Up Forms, then you want to go to Form Builder. Select this. Now this is important because this is how you're going to actually design your webinar registration form. So these are the things that I want to collect. If you click on one, you can see here. So this is an email address is what is written right here. This is the field tag that will actually be probably not super important to you actually in this tutorial, but it is kind of important to know. Let's see, country here. So you can select a country if you need to. What I did here is I went to add a field. I did a drop down, and it added a drop down here. So you can see here's the drop down. And then if you go down to this predefined choices list, you can select like gender, days of week, months of the year, US states, world countries. I hit world countries, and basically it generated a list of all of the world countries down there, so I didn't have to go in and type all of those in. If you need that, and then again to add or delete something, just hit the little minus, and it'll ask you to confirm by typing delete the word in, and then just hit delete. So if you need like a country list, if you need an address, anything like that, there's address over here, zip code, birthday, anything, any kind of information you would need. It's pretty much right over here. If not, you can always kind of make your own with a text field or with I would suggest maybe drop downs. Here's the important part. What you need right down here is you need a webinar time, and you're going to go ahead and create this through a drop down. So you hit drop down, you go ahead and edit it right here by clicking on it. Maybe if it wants to edit here. Alright, let's refresh this page real quick. Sorry, MailChimp having a little bit of a glitch here. There we go. Okay, so you click on it, edit it. You need this field to be visible, and you need it to be required. The field tag, like I said, I would change it to webinar. It doesn't matter necessarily. Because I already have one named webinar right here, I'm going to name it webinar time or webinar Tim. And then field label is whatever's going to show up to the user. So I would name this webinar time. Sure, perfect. And then you keep going down. You need it required, you need it visible. The help text, don't worry about that. Default merge tag value, don't worry about that. Here's what you need to change. You need to change these choices right here. So what I would like to see is typically a date and a time for the webinar. So I would put, for example, tomorrow, so April 25th. So I would put April 26th. Again, these are auto-populating because I already have created this field right here. But I would just put April 26th, and then I would put at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or Eastern Time or whatever Central Time, whatever you're on. And then just the second one, I would do whenever your next one is, you know, April 27th at April 27th at maybe 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or something like that. You know, just choose your times like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you can add more fields if you need. If you need to keep adding fields right there, you can do that. If you don't need to, you can just go ahead and add your fields and hit save, and that will update everything for you. Now, we already have this field created, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Here is the field right here, so we have it. Webinar time, it's named, the field tag is webinar. Again, don't worry about that too much. It's just kind of important to MailChimp. It's a required field. It's visible, so our customers, our visitors can see it. Here's the different times. Again, I just put it every day for the next 3 days at 2 p.m. Sure, doesn't really matter, whatever time you plan on hosting this. Again, also, before I need to mention this also, this is for both live webinars that you're going to be doing through like a YouTube live stream, and also evergreen webinars, which you're just going to be running on repeat basically. So just go ahead and put in the times that you'd like, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll hit save field. Once you're ready, we're going to go ahead and go back to your your WordPress backend here and go back to Easy Forms, and we're going to go ahead and hit opt-in forms. Alright, perfect. So we are back here with Easy Forms for MailChimp, and we are under opt-in forms. So this is going to make things super simple for you. Basically what this plugin is going to do is it's going to take your whole form and it's going to generate a short code, which is very popular in WordPress. It's basically just like a little code that you insert anywhere into the page, and basically it'll just generate that shortcut to the form. So I'll show you. It's super easy. It embeds whatever you use the shortcode for. So we just need to name the form name. It doesn't really matter what you name it. Let's go ahead and just say webinar registration, because that's what this form is. Registration. Again, you can see I've already done this, so it's pre-populating this stuff. A form description, register for the webinar. Okay, perfect. Associated list, this is important. You want to select the list that you want these people signing up to. Again, everyone signing up at different times, they'll all go to the same list, but you'll see how they are segmented and kind of divided up by group of what registration time they set up. So make sure that it's all going to the same list. So I would just have your main list that you want people registering for the webinar. Go ahead and hit create here, and it will create basically a form with now this is your settings page right here. Alright, perfect. So now that we are on this settings page of this specific form, we're going to go ahead and make some edits here. On the associated list conditions, list settings, I'm sorry, you can click there and check and see if you needed to change the list, if you selected the wrong list. On the opt-in settings, you can select single or double opt-in. I typically almost always go with single because that's going to give me a better likelihood of collecting email addresses and people actually, showing up and stuff. Double means they have to go into their email and then basically they submit their email, an email sent to them for verification, and they have to go and verify their email. It's just an extra step, and it's makes collecting emails just a little bit harder. So I typically don't do that unless I'm getting a ton of like spam and fake email addresses. Then I would do that, but typically I'm just going to go for single opt-in. Send update email, send an email to the user granting their permission to update their profile information. I wouldn't worry about that, don't need to do that. Update existing subscriber. So if someone puts in an email address that you already have collected, is it going to update it? Sure, that's fine. And then we'll go ahead and go to submission settings. Let's close this one here. All right, this is actually important here. So redirect on submit. Typically, I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, because after they register for the webinar, I want some kind of thank you page, like, hey, thank you, just want to let you know, like, this webinar is going to be awesome, like, I would really appreciate it if you have, had your undivided attention. So that meant like turning off your phone, turning off the laptop, disabling your email notifications for just an hour while we have this webinar, something like that. Or hey, like, I want to tell you about this super awesome offer before you get started on the webinar, like just whatever you want, upsell, downsell, cross-sell, just a thank you page. So we'll go ahead and select a page here that we will have already needed to create in Elementor, or in our WordPress basically, and then our WordPress site, we'll go ahead and select it there. Open redirect URL in new window, no, that's fine. Existing interest groups, replace, no, yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool, so everything's good. Update form. Now this is something important and not something I even noticed here that was here before, but you do need to have this. And it was a little bit glitchy, but not too bad. So click on each one of the fields that you need to be collected for your webinar. Otherwise, I would just click everything. Just click all of the fields here and just hit add to form builder. And then it's going to go ahead and add all of those. And then just hit update form. And then let's go back through opt-in settings, make sure it saved everything. Go to submission settings. Yep. Okay, everything looks saved. Okay, perfect. So now all of these forms are on your builder. Okay, now this is what you need right here is this shortcode. I'm going to go ahead and just copy that right there. And that shortcode now contains our entire registration form. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to pages and add a new page. And we're going to title this page, let's just say webinar registration. Registration, and then go ahead and hit edit with Elementor, and then it's super simple. Just style your page however you would like it styled. For this, let's just go ahead and add something super basic right here, like we'll add an element here. Let's go ahead and insert this, and we'll change it to a go down to settings over here if you want to change the page layout from this default where it's got the title up top and the masthead, all of that stuff. We'll just go ahead and hit Elementor Canvas, and that will change everything over so we can now see the whole page here. Okay, perfect. Things look really good. Let's go ahead and just add right in here. Let's just delete that, and we'll add in our registration form right here. Let's go ahead and hit menu back and go to scroll down. There is actually a shortcode element, so we can drop that in right there. And then this is weird. It doesn't let you backspace that. It's just you're going to type right over it. So basically, you just go ahead and paste that right in, and there you go. You have that pasted right in. And then again, it looks like the sizing is a little bit weird here. Let's go ahead and just apply it and see if maybe that works itself out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit publish, and then we'll go over here to a new tab and go over to, I think it was webinar-registration. There's a site. Yeah, for whatever reason that got kind of weird looking on Elementor, but don't worry about it, it comes out nicely here. Let's go ahead and go back to edit form. We don't need the Instagram handle. Let's see if we can rearrange these actually and see if that changes anything here. There we go. For some reason it got kind of out of order, so just went through and just rearranged, pulled one down, made it set the new order, and then pulled it back up. So just kind of toy with it a little bit, but yeah, there we go. So we got the whole registration form right there. So email address, the country here, select the country, the Instagram handle, webinar time, all of that. Great, that was super easy. So now essentially what we're going to see is that when we go ahead and submit something here, so let's actually go through. Let me just give me 1 second here. All right, and we're back. So I'm going to go ahead and just submit this form so you guys can see kind of what this is going to be like. And yeah, we'll go ahead and just submit this. Okay, perfect. So I just put in all of my information here and I selected a webinar time. Let's put April 27th at 2 p.m. Go ahead and hit submit. And just like that, it says thank you for subscribing, and it's redirecting us now to the Hello World page, which was the page that we had it redirect to afterwards. So now if we head back to MailChimp, I'm going to go ahead and cover this up just to protect my subscribers here. All right, perfect. So if we go back to our Manage Contacts under, or view our contacts here under MailChimp, you can see here that we have this right here, which is my email address that I submitted, the country that I submitted, the Instagram handle I submitted, or whatever information that you need to collect, and the webinar time right here. So if you wanted first name, last name, all of that good stuff, you can go ahead and collect all of that as well. But this is important because we now have the webinar time registered under my contact, so I know exactly what time that contact is planning on attending the webinar. So let's go ahead and set up the next step. All right, so the next step is going to be go ahead and set up a webinar room, basically. Really all it is just a website page where we have the video that's going to go ahead and autoplay, and it looks like it's being broadcast in, you know, it's basically like a webinar hosting room, but it's really nothing special. It's just an embedded YouTube video, whether that's a live stream or whether it's just simply a video that's being autoplayed. So we're going to go ahead and set that up here. So let's go back to Elementor here. Let's go ahead and go menu back and exit to the dashboard. And then as soon as this pops up here, we're going to go ahead and add a new page. And we're going to go to, or we're going to name it Webinar Room. Sure, that sounds great. Let's go ahead and edit this with Elementor. Let's go ahead and change this. We want this to look like an actual room here, so we'll go ahead and change this to an Elementor canvas. So it's blank here, perfect. And hey, there's my MailChimp email, my welcome email right there. Let's go ahead and just hit add new section, and we're going to add a 3 here so we can kind of keep the video right in the middle here, so we can resize it easily. Let's see, what else do we want? Let's go ahead and put a progress bar up at the top, and let's put a button at the bottom. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and go to our elements. We're going to go ahead and put in, let's see, a progress bar. I know they're in here somewhere because I've used them before. Progress bar, perfect. Let's go ahead and just drop that in there. Cool, let's go ahead and put this all the way up to 100%, and we'll just say streaming live. Sure, and then the inner text is, we'll just put broadcasting. Again, this isn't necessary, we're just trying to make it look, you know, fancy. Display the percentage, no, that's this little number over here. If I show you here, it'll show 100%. No, we'll just hide that. Okay, style, we're going to go ahead and change it to like a red color. Sure, that looks good. Let's go ahead and copy this and change the title color as well. Perfect. Cool. We don't need anything else. Yeah, great. That looks good to me. Let's go ahead and insert the video now. This will be our video stream. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add the video here. Just one thing I do want to mention is I have had issues with Elementor's video plugin, or I'm sorry, element right here, just dragging this in. For some reason, like I'll show you right here, if I drag this in, it has an autoplay feature, but for whatever reason, I just can't get it to work. Like I click it and it just doesn't autoplay, and when I publish the page, same thing, doesn't autoplay. So I have found a workaround, a super easy workaround. We're just going to go ahead and install a new plugin, which I have used this plugin on other websites and I love it. It's a great plugin. It allows for like full screen videos, basically full size videos. It's called, let's go ahead and go to settings. It's ARVE. So if we actually just want to look that up, ARVE WordPress, then we come up with Advanced Responsive Video Embedder. And yeah, it's a great plugin. Had no issues with it whatsoever. So yeah, basically it creates, you just create this short code. You just put ARVE space with the URL, and you can put in a YouTube video, Vimeo, I think, or anything like that. And then you can change all the different things like the start time, the alignment, the size, the width, the height, everything like that. Let's go ahead and just copy this over. I already have it installed. You don't even need to set it up, I don't think. I think you just install it and then go ahead and just go in here, and we'll grab our short code again and drop it over here. And then we're going to go ahead and just paste this in. Now, one thing we do want to change here is we don't want it aligned left. We don't want the parameters. We don't need any parameters. So it's just going to be set up like that, and we want it to, let's keep that there. We'll just add autoplay. This is, so after the URL we do a space, and then we put autoplay equals open quote yes close quote. Perfect. So now you're going to see it just autoplays with no issues like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this YouTube link. We're just going to go ahead and change that to whatever our webinar YouTube link would be. For right now, I'm just going to grab one of my YouTube videos so you can see it, and I can show you kind of how this works here. But okay, perfect. So I just went ahead and grabbed that link, and we're just going to go ahead and paste it in right there. Perfect, just like that. Okay, now you see there are black bars up at the top and bottom. We can go ahead and adjust this sizing so it fits in nicely. Maybe we want to put it at about, I don't know, 25 or so, 26% and 26%. Perfect. That looks pretty good. It's just kind of in there. Perfect. And let me just check here. Okay, perfect. So for some reason it was kind of giving me the black bars on the sides, so I just went ahead and hit apply here. So short code, just put it in and then hit apply, and that kind of refreshed the page like that. And then now I can resize it any size I need. For some reason it was kind of doing that funky thing. So let's go ahead and set this to like 20% and 20% on this side. Okay, perfect. That looks good. So we have this kind of being broadcast live. If you don't even want these sidebars, you can just add it to a complete column like that. However you'd like to do it. We can also move this, not the whole thing, but the actual, you can move this to down in front of there. So maybe that will look a little bit cleaner. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do that like that. Okay, perfect. And then what else do we need? We need a button. So let's go ahead. Now this step is optional. Okay, these next two steps are optional. I personally prefer the first one, don't love the second one. The first one is adding a overlay. So as of right now, people can click on the video and pause it. They can see my other related videos, stuff like that. We don't necessarily want that. We want them to just not even see any of that. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to overlay a whole basically screen over the website. So when they click, they're clicking on the screen and not clicking on the video that's behind the screen. So basically, that's how we're going to do it. So it's like if you had, you know, a TV behind like your patio door, and you like went to click on the TV, but the patio door's in the way, so you're clicking on the patio door instead, like you're touching the patio door rather than like touching the actual TV. That's basically what we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this code here that we're going to go ahead and do that with. So we're going to go back and we're going to drag in this HTML element, and we're just going to actually just move it to the bottom here. Oops, let's just pull this over. Let's add it to the bottom here. Okay, so let me go ahead and just copy this over here. Where is my HTML? There it is. Perfect, there it is right there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just paste this in. I will see if I can, there you go. So write this down, it's super easy. It's open bracket div style equals open quote width colon 100% semicolon height colon 100% semicolon z index colon 9 semicolon top 0 colon 0 semicolon left colon 0 semicolon position colon fixed semicolon close quote close bracket open bracket slash div close bracket. So basically it's just saying, hey, we're going to have a section here, and it's going to be z indexes means basically that it'll be in front of things, so it's going to be in front of everything. It's going to be cover the whole screen, and it's just going to be there so people can't click on anything. So if you see now, I'm trying to click on the video and it's still playing up here, you can see, but I'm unable to click on it. Okay, so fantastic, that worked well. Let's go ahead and put that back down there. Okay, now we just need to add a button in. So we're going to go ahead and click on the button, drag the button in here, and the button is over there. We're going to go ahead and change it to get this offer, or whatever you would like it to say. Go ahead and style it however you would like it to be styled. I'm going to go ahead and change it to like an orange maybe. Oh, that's the, let's go ahead, background color, sorry. I'm going to change it to kind of like an orange, and yeah, nice. Let's change the, there we go. Let's change this actually to white. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Get this offer. Let's go ahead and center it. Now here's the kind of tricky part. So this is not just with Elementor, but it's with all webinars in general, is how do you know when you want this button to come up? Because you don't want it to show up right at the start, because people will just click on it to see what the offer is, they'll make a decision, and then they're gone. So you want time to sell them on it, right? So basically, how do you time that perfectly if you are doing a live webinar? How are you going to be able to get this to pop up at the exact right time? Unless your pitch is down like to perfection, I mean, it's really going to be really hard for this button to pop up at the exact right time. If it's an evergreen webinar, you know how long your pitch is, you can kind of do it like that and set that up that way. But some people, like even Russell Brunson, when he does his pitch for ClickFunnels on his webinar, he doesn't time it perfect. At least he didn't in the live webinar, that's for sure. And so what he does is on the screen on the end of his webinar, he puts a URL, just a very short URL. So go to tyleremorrison.com/offer and get this offer. And there's their checkout page. That'll redirect them to the checkout page or whatever they need. That's what my suggestion would be, is handle the actual call to action to buy this in the actual webinar rather than try and time this button perfectly. Because what if the button doesn't pop up? What if you end 5 minutes early and the button doesn't pop up and they don't know where to go, and it's like awkward because they're just like over with the webinar and there's nothing on the page, no call to action. So put your call to action in the webinar. Here's what you could do if you were going to try and time this perfectly, which may be a little difficult. If it's an evergreen webinar, like I said, you might be able to do it. Go ahead and hit advanced. Change the Z index to 10 because we need that basically you have the video laying flat like this, you have that screen laying over it on z-index 9, and you need the button to be up top so people can click on the button but they just can't click on the video behind it. So you need to change the z-index to 10, or whatever you change the z-index to in the screen, the HTML screen that we just put over it, you need to change it to above that z-index. So for example, I put it to z-index 9, I'm changing it to z-index 10 for the button. Okay, let's go ahead and show you how you would time this. You're going to go ahead and hit entrance animation, and you're going to go bounce in probably, or something like that, fade in, bounce in, up maybe. Perfect, that'll work. Duration, so this will be like if the animation happens slow or if it happens fast like that. We'll just do normal. This is how you're gonna have to do it. The animation delay, so basically how long it takes before the actual animation runs. This is in milliseconds, so that means for every 1,000 milliseconds it's going to be equal to 1 second. So let's say if you had, your webinar was 35 minutes long, you would need to times out 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So you're assuming 60,000 milliseconds per minute. So you would times out 60,000 times 35 minutes. I hope that makes sense. So it's 1,000 is 1 second. So 1,000 times 60 seconds in a minute, so that's 60,000, and then the amount of minutes in your webinar. So let's say your webinar is 45 minutes long. You'd go 60,000 times 45. Or if it's 10 minutes long, 60,000 times 10, just like that. So we'll say it's 35 minutes long. So we'll go, hey Google, what is 60,000 times 35? We're going to go ahead and put that number in. Hey Google, can you say that again?
I said, the answer is 2,100,000.
Okay, so 2.1 million. So 2,100,000. Okay, so perfect. So that is going to be 2,100,000 milliseconds to delay. So that means this should pop up at 35 minutes. Again, this is really stretching things. I can't guarantee you this is going to work perfectly, but you can go ahead and try it and see. I would definitely run through a test and see if it works before you actually implement it. But like I said, put your call to action in the webinar. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Either way, we're going to go ahead and hit publish. And our page is live. We're going to go ahead, let's see, what is this page called again? Let's go ahead and go over. What did we name this page? Let's go back here. Go to the dashboard. All right, this is our webinar room, right? So webinar dash room. Okay, so if we go to the webinar dash room. All right, and look at that. Just like that, we have everything in here. We're unable to click on anything, so the YouTube controls go away right away. And we're unable to click on everything. It says streaming live, broadcasting. Here we are. There's audio. It's playing through my audio port right now, but I have my microphone plugged in, so I can't hear it. Yeah, I can't click on anything. Very easy. If you need like any kind of chat features, you can try and embed like YouTube comments and stuff in here. I'm not going to go into that on this video. That's a little bit more in depth. But yeah, guys, you've pretty much built out an entire webinar room here. So perfect, we have that. Hopefully our button pops up at 35 minutes into it like we set up on our time. So far so good, it hasn't popped up. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and hit back here, and yeah, we should be good to go on that. Alright, so let's just implement the last few steps here. The user has gone ahead and registered for our webinar, and they've been sent their information over to our MailChimp account. So we're basically going to go back here and create an email to remind them that the webinar is coming up. So we'll go ahead and hit create here. We'll go ahead and hit email, and we're going to create a name for this email. And this is for the 27th, I believe the person registered for. So we'll hit webinar, and we'll go to webinar April 27th. We'll say at 2 p.m. Oops, 2 p.m. This is just for our knowledge, just this title right here is for us, so We don't have to type it in anything famous or anything special, sorry. If we just have a simple one webinar a day, we could just put April 27th webinar just to help us remember. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and select, this is an audience selection right here. I'm going to go ahead and just hit select, and we can go ahead and choose our audience right here. This is important. We're going to go ahead and choose the correct audience. Now, this is the key right here, is we want, right here it says all subscribers in audience. That's not true. We don't want to send this invite out to everyone. We only want to send it to those that have registered for April 27th. We're going to go ahead and click there and hit group or new segment, and this new little box will pop up below that says new segment, and then we're going to go ahead and click contacts that match all of the following options. You can probably use any. I prefer all, just so it's not sending it to everyone or having issues thinking about everyone. I just want it to meet all of the conditions below. We want to change the email address to webinar time. It's under merge fields here, and it's going to be webinar time or whatever you titled it when you set up the registration form. It's going to be webinar time, and then you want the webinar time is, and then you want it to be equal to whatever time you're working on. So we scroll back up, we're working on the April 27th webinar. We're going to go ahead and change it to the April 27th, okay? And then we're going to update the recipient count. We'll count the number of people that are registered in for this time on our contact list. So we click that, and it can see that there's one person registered, which is me because I submitted the form earlier and registered for that time. And then that's basically it. You're going to go ahead and just create an email just as you would for any other normal email that you're sending out. I personalize the to field, add a first name if we have it. We don't have it, just go ahead and save. So there's the from address, the subject. We can go ahead and add a subject here. We're going live now. We're going live in 5, or we're going live in 10 minutes. Join us for the webinar. Okay, perfect. Save this. Okay, now the content, we're just going to go ahead and add a template here, or just add something in here. We'll just go simple text. Basically what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to link to the, okay, perfect, we'll just go ahead and edit this. You're just going to want to link back to your webinar room page. So just say, hey, here is the webinar link. Join us now. Join us now. We'll be live in 10 minutes. Okay. And then here we're just going to go ahead and insert a link and a link to a web address. And we're going to go back and see what the, I think it was webinar-room, right? Yeah, that's correct, actually. Yeah, webinar-room. We can see if we can just copy this. Copy that. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and link it in here. Perfect. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and hit insert. And yeah, just like that. Boom. Perfect. We can save and close this. Oh, let's save and close this first, and then save and close this. Perfect. And we are good to go. Let's see, it says there's still something in here that we need to take out that they added on the template. This just started popping up. Hang on, let's see. Oh, it's time to design your email. Okay, we want to delete that. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and save and close now. Now we're good to go. Got the check marks on everything. So we're sending it to one recipient who is registered for the April 27th webinar. Our campaign is called April 27th. Okay, that's correct. This is our from email address. Here's the subject. Here's the content. Okay, now here's what's important. Instead of sending it, you're going to go ahead and hit schedule. Now right here, you're going to want to go ahead and just set up the time. So the delivery date, you want it set up for the 27th and at a specific time. We want it to get there at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight Time, whatever, whatever time we're on. So you'll want to figure out the time zones. Just make sure your time zones match up here. Let's go ahead and get it there at 1. 45, okay, and then we'll go ahead and set a specific time. So again, it's only sending based on 15-minute intervals, so you will want to keep that in mind, and it may take a few minutes. If you have like a massive list, it may take a few minutes to deliver to everyone. We'll go ahead and hit schedule campaign, and that will be all set up to go. So guys, that's the gist of it. Now let's talk about really quickly what you're going to change when you go through another webinar process. Actually, before we talk about that, let's go back to the webinar room and go ahead and edit this real quick with Elementor. And then let me just show you what you would do if you were hosting a live webinar. Is you would just simply change the YouTube URL right here. Again, you can't click on anything here because we've added this thing in, so we're going to go ahead and just basically cut it, and then we'll put it back in afterwards. Now we can click on stuff. Go back here. I would just change the YouTube URL here. Just change it to whatever. When you're about to go live, they will give you a YouTube, like a URL for the live stream, for the live video. You're just going to go ahead and paste that in here. Basically, it'll just show up that no one is live yet, and when you go live, then it'll pop up and everything will be good. But they can just sit in the room waiting for you to go live. That's not a problem. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hey guys, Tyler again. Just needed to add two little things here. One is a glitch that I noticed that you can easily fix here. If you're editing this page a lot, you might run into this glitch. Basically what it is that when we put this screen, the overlay over the entire page, it could possibly cause a little bit of issues with the autoplay feature here. So for example, if I refresh the page here on our Elementor side, you'll see that for some reason it doesn't autoplay my video anymore. It comes up with the thumbnail here. So, and we've disabled any clicking, so basically we're stuck there. So what we need to do is make sure this is fixed and then publish it. So this is for any time you might be editing this page. You'll probably want to go back through these steps and make sure that it is working. So all we're going to do is go ahead and highlight all of the code that we've put in for the screen overlay, and we're going to cut it, and then we're just simply going to go up here. Now we can click on anything. We're going to go ahead and go up here to edit this video, and the autoplay we're just going to backspace so it says YE, and then just add a yes. Just add an S there and it'll say yes again, and that kind of refreshes it, everything like that. We're okay now. We can hit apply, and then we can go ahead and go back to our HTML here and paste in that code again and update it once again. And now if we refresh, we should be able to have, yeah, just like that. We can't click, and that took care of everything. Also, one other quick thing that I forgot to mention in the video, and I'm sorry, I'm so sorry I forgot to mention. I just want to add it in here so you are sure to go back and do this, is let's go ahead and remove this again. We'll cut it out, and then we'll go ahead and edit this. Is this right here, this code. I added this code after the, when we're embedding through the ARV embed here. After autoplay, we have a space, and then we put parameters equal, and then quote, and we're going to put controls equals 0, and the and sign, disable KB, which stands for keyboard, disable KB equals 1, and then an and sign, and REL equals 0, and then close the quote and end it just like that. So just add that, and you'll see now when we refresh this page here, you'll see that there's no time at the bottom, and I can't use the space bar to pause the video or skip or anything like that. YouTube has shortcuts that you can use the space or the keyboard for, but that disabled the keyboard. It also disabled the space bar, and I think it should have disabled related videos at the end. So you should be good to go there. I would just go ahead and do that. Just add that, and then like I said, just with that little glitch, if for some reason you have your code in here and then you just refresh the page, it's probably going to cause some issues. So you just want to go ahead, go back, cut out the screen overlay code, edit the video code. So we're just going to go back here, cut that out. Okay, so that's cut out. We're just going to hit edit and just change this to YE, and then just add the S back, and it'll start auto playing like that. And then we'll go back to the HTML and paste that code back in there and update it, and we should be good to go now. And just like that, we are good to go. And no keyboard functionality, no timeline at the bottom, nothing. We should be all set. Alright guys, hope that helps. Hey guys, so just two things real quick before we wrap up here, just so you know. I just want to show you. So when you go to edit on this page, you're going to want to, I think I mentioned this already, but you're going to go ahead and just cut this out so you can go ahead and make edits to this. And then obviously this is a very crucial part here. I just kind of assumed that you would know how to do this, but I should go ahead and explain this. Is you want this button to link over to your offer. So right over here in their link, you're going to go ahead and change this to, the comment said he was using Teachable, so I would just go over to your actual Teachable page, maybe even directly to your checkout page, and just go ahead and put in your URL right there. And then when you click that button, it'll obviously take you over to that page. Something else possibly you'll want to do is set up a follow-up email basically after this one sends out. So it sends out maybe 15 minutes before the webinar starts, and then the webinar is maybe an hour long. So maybe about an hour and 15 minutes, so maybe around like 3 or 3:30, you want to send up a follow-up email presenting the offer again and a link to the offer. So you would just go ahead and schedule that up essentially exactly how we did it, to the same audience, same everything like that. Create an email, say, hey, here's the offer that we presented in the webinar, thanks for stopping by, or thanks for being interested in this webinar in the first place. And just kind of explain that, and then go ahead and hit schedule and schedule this for maybe 3:30. That will give you the option to present them again with a link to your offer, and yeah, just essentially give them a chance to offer or to take advantage of that offer. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, let's just go through what you would change here. So if you wanted to change this, I do use a plugin that I really like called Duplicate This, I think it's called. And I'll essentially, yeah, just look for, I think it's Duplicate This is the plugin name. Basically, you just hover over a page and you can just hit Duplicate This, and it'll duplicate the page. And so you could have Webinar Room 1 where it's set up for the webinar going out for Tuesday. Webinar Room 2 is the webinar setup going out for Wednesday. Webinar Room 3 is the webinar setup going out for Thursday. This is assuming you all have different webinars, or they're all different live streams, or you're actually doing a live webinar every single day. If it's all the same webinar, just keep it all on one under Webinar Room and just send out the email. Just duplicate the email and have it send out to each group of contacts, 15 minutes before the webinar. And then that's pretty much it. Then you can just add them to your drip campaign, and everything will kind of work on its own. I think you guys will really like this. I think it'll work really well. If you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, guys, I'm super excited that we were able to figure this out. And like I said, I do have that video series coming up very soon. So be sure and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get notifications when I do drop that new video series. It's going to be all about this kind of stuff, which will be super nice. And yeah, I'm super excited. Have an awesome day, and remember to keep crushing it, grinding hard, and pushing forward. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.